Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel. I seen a video on YouTube of another girl's experience about a molar pregnancy, and I wanted to share my experience because she noted that there's not that many people who go through it, or there's not that many people who share their experience, and it makes you feel alone. So in February 2017, me and my husband moved in together. We moved to North Carolina, and it was our first place together, and we had agreed to at least try for a kid when we moved in together. That was our one thing that we wanted. We wanted a place to ourselves to be able to start our family, and we finally did it. So I found out I was pregnant. I believe it was June 28th of 2017. And the way I found out I was pregnant was I was laying on the bathroom floor at home in so much pain. It just felt like normal cramping, but it was so painful I couldn't move. Usually with my periods, the first 2 days are painful enough as it is, but I knew something wasn't right. So called my husband. He came home from work and he took me to the emergency room, and they ran blood tests and they found out I was pregnant. Since I was in so much pain, the doctor wanted to do an ultrasound just to make sure it wasn't an ectopic pregnancy, in which it wasn't. He still wasn't sure what was going on, so we did a follow-up with OB, and my doctor, who I had and I switched, the first ultrasound that I had with him, he told me, "Great news, we found a baby in gestational sac," and he circled it and everything, and he's like, pointed to it, it's like, "Here's the baby," and he printed out a little picture right there, and he said, "That's great news." So I had relief. I'm like, okay, well, it's in the uterus, it's not an ectopic pregnancy, I shouldn't worry so much now. So calmed down, and I went to work and everything, and he treated it as if it was a normal pregnancy because he thought he'd seen a baby. So about 3-4 weeks go by, I come in for a follow-up appointment, and I had another ultrasound just to check, make sure everything was going okay, and he said, "This doesn't look right. This looks like a molar pregnancy." And I was like, "Well, I don't know what that is." And he didn't really explain it too well, so I wanted to get my doctor changed just because of the fact that at first he said he got me excited, getting my hopes up, saying that he sees a baby and everything is fine, no worries anymore. So I requested to change doctors, so I did. And she made me come in weekly to get my blood drawn, and then I would be seen every other week and get an ultrasound. With that being said, she immediately, the first ultrasound that she did, she knew that it was a molar pregnancy. She herself had only had one other patient have a molar pregnancy, so she wasn't 100% sure if it was a partial or a complete molar pregnancy. She said it looked like a partial, which is why she said that the other doctor thought that he's seen a baby, because with a partial molar pregnancy, you actually have an actual fetus, and then you have the molar pregnancy itself, and it's attached. It's still not a viable baby, however. With a complete molar pregnancy, it's basically cells growing like cancer in your uterus. So this went on. She continued weekly with doing blood work and spaced out the OB visits, and in September I was at work and I started to have a miscarriage. So it was right whenever I was leaving work, so I clocked out and I just went home, and I had to process it for a little bit, and I told my husband also, and I called my mom and I talked to her about it too. And my husband took me to the emergency room just to pretty much be checked to make sure, there wasn't anything left. and there was, so the miscarriage wasn't complete, so they scheduled to have a D&C the next day. So in September, I had my D&C. I had to go to work and turn in the papers, tell them I was going to be out for a week, or maybe more, but at least for a week for bed rest. And my mom flew from Florida to come for my surgery, and my sister came also, and my husband was there too. My mom flew just because with the military, we didn't know if my husband was going to have that week off, if they were going to give him the week off to help take care of me, and somebody had to be home with me. So I had the surgery and I was on bed rest for a week, and I turned in my papers for Big Lots, and they understood, they knew what was going on, and they wanted to make sure that I got the rest that I needed. After the D&C, we still followed up weekly for my blood work, but as long as it was dropping the way it was supposed to, you know, not too fast, but just the right amount, and making sure it was going back down to normal the way it was supposed to. When it reached 0, we could space out the blood draws for monthly. So once every month, the beginning of the month, I would go in and get my blood drawn, and she wanted to follow through for 6 months. And at 6 months, if everything was okay, I was okay to try for another baby. If not, then she wouldn't clear me until it was a year. So I found out I was pregnant, though, February of 2018. That's 5 months instead of 6 months. I was lucky enough for everything to be okay. She checked to make sure the baby was okay and I was okay, and we were, luckily. And they followed closely the beginning of my pregnancy, but once I hit the 20-week mark and we found out the gender, and they did, you know, making sure everything was okay, that ultrasound, we spaced it out for like a normal pregnancy. They still considered me high risk, but I was lucky enough for my complete molar pregnancy to not turn into cancer. I know there's women out there that aren't so lucky, and I'm also lucky enough to have given birth to my rainbow baby, November 16th, 2018. He is now 11 months old. But I just want to share this because you're not alone going through it. Even if we have people there for the surgery or for support, it still feels like you're alone, because there's usually nobody around you who actually knows exactly what you went through. And I know I had a lot of people who tried to comfort me by saying, oh, it just wasn't your time will come. And I just want everyone to know that that is not comforting when you just went through it. I know that everything happens for a reason, and there was a reason why I didn't have this baby, because now I have a beautiful little boy, and had I had this baby, I wouldn't have him. So I know everything happens for a reason, but when you're going through it, or you're in the process of going through it, it's not comforting. You just want to have somebody there to listen to you. So that is why I came out with my story. I can honestly say that when I did find out I was pregnant again, I was terrified. I was so scared. I just immediately went to the emergency room to get checked out, because I didn't want the same thing to happen. I knew that even if I went then, it was possible that they couldn't find out exactly if everything was okay or not. But it was such a happy moment when I found out everything was okay. Don't lose hope. I feel like I tried so long to get pregnant, and it was such a big disappointment when I was pregnant for the first time and this happened. I felt like it was my fault, and it's not. My doctor made sure that I knew and I understood that this was nobody's fault. It's not. It's kind of like a freak accident or some bad luck. It's not anyone's fault. So please don't blame yourself. I'm hoping that everyone who goes through this will either come out and support other people who went through it or are going through it. But I'm here and I will listen to you, and I know what you're going through. if you wanted to talk to me. Thank you guys so much for sitting through this video and listening to my molar pregnancy story. If you are going through this, or if you went through this, comment down below. Too many people who know about molar pregnancies. It's scary. I know other people think that they say that you didn't have a baby. That's not what it was, and that's not true.